This is the Fox 34 SL. It is brand new for 2026 and it's going to be replacing the outgoing 34 Stepcast, which is a fork that we know very well here at Flow. Looking at the two side by side, it's clear that the 34 SL is quite a bit beefier and it's also offered with more travel, making it an intriguing option not just for World Cup level cross-country racing, but also fast-paced trail riding. Now, the 34 SL is the first of several new releases coming from Fox this year. If you're keen to know about the others, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on the video reviews that we're working on right now. But without further ado, let's jump into our review of the Fox 34 SL. The Fox 34 SL is a brand new high-performance XC fork. It utilises 34mm diameter upper tubes like its predecessor, but that's about where the similarities end. For a start, the 34 SL is offered with up to 130mm of travel. That's a 10mm increase over the 34 Stepcast and the RockShox SID. According to Fox, a number of World Cup teams have already been testing this configuration and are likely to race on it this year. Bikes like the Scott Spark, the Orbea Oise, the Specialized Epic, the Pivot Mach 4 SL and the Trek Top Fuel are all rated for 130mm travel fork, so we expect this could be the start of a new trend. While Fox's Grip SL and Grip X dampers are carried over from last year, the chassis on the 34 SL is all new from the inside out. There's a shapely wraparound arch that incorporates cutout windows and a new crown that features hollowed out bores to increase stiffness. The stanchions are also longer to handle the extra travel, and the bushings are spaced further apart to reduce stiction under load. You'll still find the bypass channels, though they've been moved inboard away from the primary fore-after load path. Their dual purpose otherwise remains the same. They're designed to increase the air volume inside the lowers to reduce unintended ramp up, and they're also there to help oil circulate inside the fork to keep the foam rings, wipers, and bushings properly lubricated. According to Fox, all of these changes make the 34 SL 17% stiffer torsionally compared to the 34 Stepcast. It also has a wider stance due to the move away from the Stepcast design. That means it can now fit up to a 2.5-inch tyre, and it also provides more room for a higher volume air spring. And in another nod towards modern XC riding, the brake tabs are now direct mount for a 180mm rotor. Now, with the extra travel and stiffness gains, it's no surprise to hear that the 34 SL has gotten a bit heavier. Our 130mm travel test fork with the Grip SL damper weighs in at 1,480 grams, which is only about 60 grams heavier than the 34 Stepcast behind me. It is still just lighter than the RockShox SID, and if you're comparing it to other 130mm travel forks like the Pike, you're looking at up to a 400-gram weight saving. Indeed, this is by far and away the lightest 130mm travel fork that we have ever tested. Alongside the 34 SL, Fox is also launching a new remote lockout called the Twin Stick. Using a machined alloy construction, it uses a lower paddle to activate your dropper post and a single upper lever to control your suspension. You can link it up to a fork, a shock, or both, and it's compatible with 2 and 3 position systems. Now, I really like the fit and finish of this remote, especially compared to past efforts from Fox, though the action of the suspension lever does take some getting used to. A long push is required to engage a firmer mode, while a short push will click it back towards the open mode. In practice, it's a bit like a SRAM double tap road shifter. You can only go one click at a time though, so a bit more thought is required, especially if you're using a 3-position system. Back to the fork, and the 34 SL will be offered in 3 spec variants with prices starting at 1,149 Australian dollars. Each will be offered with 110, 120 or 130mm of travel. Our test fork is the top-end factory series model, which comes with the Grip SL damper and the blingy gold Kashima coated stanchions. Price on this is 1,899 Australian dollars. It's worth noting that you can buy the factory series fork with the heavier Grip X damper, though only with 130mm of travel. More on that in a bit. Now, we've actually had 2 Fox 34 SL forks on test over the past month. Mick's got a 130mm travel fork on his Santa Cruz Tallboy, and I've had a 120mm travel remote activated fork on my Specialized Chisel. Now, despite sharing a similar amount of travel, these are 2 quite different bikes. I'll be going over some of our key riding impressions in this video, though if you prefer a more in-depth approach, be sure to click the link down below to see the complete review over at flowmountainbike.com. out on the trail, and I was pleased to find that the 34SL carries over much of what we loved about the 34 Stepcast. Small bump sensitivity is outstanding, with the hyperactive Grip SL damper providing excellent comfort and traction. The supple ride quality keeps the front tyre glued to the ground while effectively soaking up vibrations before they make it up to the grips. Indeed, this is an impressively smooth and active fork across high-frequency chatter. While not entirely silent, I was happy to discover that Fox has managed to quieten down some of the slurping noises from the latest Grip SL damper. More importantly, the 34SL is also a considerably stiffer fork thanks to all of the chassis updates. Steering is more precise, there's less flex under heavy braking, and off-camber impacts are dealt with more cleanly. Having taken the regular 34 Grip X off the front of his tallboy, Mick found the overall stiffness levels to be pretty similar with the 34SL, which is impressive given it's 250 grams lighter. Now, while the Grip SL damper offers fantastic sensitivity, Mick found it can get overwhelmed on bigger and faster hits. The light damping can sometimes struggle to control the impact energy, which is particularly noticeable during high-speed rebound events, where the front wheel can extend faster than you'd like. And it's worth noting that this issue will be exacerbated for heavier and more aggressive riders who are running higher pressures and more volume spaces. With that in mind, those folks who are on short travel trail bikes like the Tallboy, the Epic Evo and the Top Fuel may want to consider the heavier Grip X damper. That'll get you more adjustability with high and low speed compression dials along with better big hit control. Personally, I find the Grip SL damper to be well suited to XC applications, and as a lighter rider, I've gotten along well with the overall level of damping. Indeed, the smooth ride quality and the low weight are a big part of this fork's appeal. In terms of durability, there have been two separate issues with our test forks. The first is with the compression dial on Mick's fork, which was damaged either in transit or from a crash. The internal mechanism is very light, but it also turns out it's quite fiddly and delicate. Having pulled it apart, Mick discovered that the bump stop pin was broken from being over-rotated. Now, it's not the end of the world, but it is still worth mentioning. The second issue occurred with my fork, which had otherwise been performing flawlessly right up until the final photo shoot. The next day, the fork began to exhibit a noticeable top-out thunk when yanking up on the bars on a takeoff of a jump. I removed the lowers and air spring, but couldn't find any obvious signs of damage, so we'll be sending this fork back to Fox to have it inspected. Given all the improvements on show with the Fox 34SL, many of you may be wondering how it compares directly to its biggest rival, the RockShox SID. I've spent a heap of time on the latest SID, which has included some back-to-back testing with the 34 Stepcast and the 34SL. If you're keen to know how these forks compare on the trail, just click the link in the video description below to see the full review over at flowmountainbike.com. To sum things up, the Fox 34SL takes what was already a class-leading XC fork and makes it even better. The new chassis not only looks striking, it also adds valuable rigidity and tyre clearance while maintaining the excellent traction and comfort of its predecessor. The addition of a 130mm travel option is exciting news for those with a lightweight trail bike, though we'd recommend heavier and more aggressive riders consider the Grip X damper for maximum high-speed control. If you're after the lightest 130mm travel fork that money can buy, however, we'd struggle to think of anything that comes close to the Grip SL version. Enough from me though, what do you folks think of the new Fox 34SL? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, be sure to shoot through any questions and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this video review and we'll see you next time. Tooroo!